Hello, everyone, and welcome to Plugged In with the Unchargeables. My name is WINSLOW Dixon, and today our topic is migraines. So our first panelist today is Alyssa.
Hi guys, I've been suffering from migraines for just over a year after a bout of something called serum sickness, which is basically a version of anaphylactic shock in which it is a medicine reaction and it doesn't show up right away. So after that experience, I've been getting chronic migraines, and that's what brought me here. So on to Misha.
Hi, I'm Misha. I've suffered migraines since I was about 12 or 13. I'm 25 now, so I've had them for forever. I also suffer from a disease called myoclonus, which is a neurological movement disorder. So I also have seizure-like episodes. And yeah, onward to, was it Taylor next?
Hi everyone, I'm Taylor. I have been dealing with migraines for about 7 years now. And I also have POTS and fibromyalgia, so that keeps me pretty much in pain all the time. But yeah, my migraines are a pretty big factor to that. So that's my experience with them. Back to you, Winslow.
Well, thank you, ladies. Like I said, my name is Winslow, and my experience with migraines is they really started when I was about 12 years old. I believe it's because I had some hormone imbalances. That's really when they started, was about age 12, onset of puberty and that sort of thing. So my experience with them has been pretty much lifelong. My suggestions as to what helps me, my first lines are staying hydrated. If I get where I'm not drinking enough water, I will definitely get a migraine. I have to eat. If I get too hungry, if my blood sugar drops, I will definitely get a migraine. Basically, self-care is the first line with migraine prevention. If you're not eating, if you're not sleeping, if you're not staying hydrated, you're going to give yourself a predisposition to get a migraine. That being said, there are also some external factors that can affect that. If you take medications, it's helpful for me to take them at the same time. You know, your body gets used to a baseline of things, and when you switch it up, especially people with migraines, we tend to do better on a schedule. So that helps me. Medication-wise, I do sumatriptan, which is generic Imitrex. I take 50 milligrams with the onset of my migraines, lay down with a cool pack on my eyes, and just let it dissipate. There are a lot of migraine triggers that I try to avoid. Certain foods. Very ripe bananas, for whatever reason, give me terrible migraines. Don't know why. Avocados do. So my suggestion is that if you do have migraines, figure out what triggers you. I tell everybody with health problems that if you don't keep a journal of your daily things, you're really missing out, because you never know what connects to what, and your body is very chemically connected. So if one chemical is off, you can throw another chemical off, and it throws a bunch of stuff into flux, and you don't feel good. And then you can look back and go, hey, I ate cheese last Thursday and today, and I have this migraine, so maybe I don't need to eat that or something. So my suggestion is obviously just stay on a schedule as much as you can. I know with life you can't, but take care of yourself. Self-care is the first line in migraine prevention. If not, you know, the second step is medications. Triptan medications are put out there for migraines. You know, there's Excedrin and things like that over the counter as well that works for people. So just find something and take care of yourself. So on to Miss Alyssa.
Thank you. So what I typically do is I do try to avoid some of my triggers. I am still trying to figure some of them out, though, because I have not been dealing with migraines for that long. But so far what I figured out is, as she said, dehydration. If you're not getting enough, one of the things that my doctor recommended that I've been trying to do is, if you start feeling dehydrated, go get like a Gatorade or something to try to get it in as quickly as possible, to try to avoid that. I have not figured out a medicine that works for me yet. Typically I do just take the max amount of ibuprofen that I can. The few times that I have ended up in an urgent care, they have given me an IV to, rehydrate me, and they've given me a Benadryl and some anti-nausea medicine, which does seem to work. But obviously, as many of you know, we don't want to spend much time, in emergency rooms or urgent care. A cool pack does work. One of my triggers that I've noticed, and this may be something that may have been, may not have been thought of before for some people, is I'm vegetarian, and if I find something has, say, like I have a soup that has chicken broth in it and I didn't realize it, I'll end up with a migraine later. And so things like that maybe your body's not used to or that you wouldn't expect, are trying to, figure that out. Definitely tracking them does seem to help though too. I actually video record mine if I'm able to see how I'm feeling on that basis. So yeah, if any of those things would help anybody else, that'd be great. So on to you.
I haven't actually figured out many of my triggers, unfortunately. I do keep track on this awesome app that I have found. It's called Migraine Buddy, and it's the greatest thing ever. It keeps track of like what you've taken, how long, and how severe it is. It's just the greatest app. I recommend it to anybody that has migraines. I take sumatriptan as well, 50 milligrams. And for me, that has been a lifesaver because nothing else has really helped. And I take it as soon as I can. And then I find a dark room and find somewhere quiet if it's possible. And that always helps. Like I said, I don't really have many triggers other than like the only thing I've found is like sleep. If I don't get enough sleep, then that's why I got a migraine last night, because I've barely slept this week. And then if I sleep way too much, then it's almost given that I will have a migraine. And then when it's that time of month, I also get migraines. So that's about the only triggers that I have, unfortunately. So onwards to you.
So the first thing I'd say is, if you have migraines, tell your doctor that you have migraines, because it took me 5 years of that 7 years of migraines before I actually ever saw a doctor or a neurologist for it. And that's awful. So I would say go that. I did take sumatriptan for a while, but fortunately my migraines have an external cause that my spine is actually messed up. So I don't have a curve in my neck, and I had a herniated disc. So all that pressure on my spine is causing the migraines, and they're pretty awful. My first line of defense is Excedrin Migraine. I have spent so many years taking ibuprofen, and I've noticed Excedrin Migraine kicks in way faster. And it doesn't necessarily deal with the cause of my migraines, but it definitely helps the pain go away. The other thing that I have tried recently, and my chiropractor actually suggested this, was putting heat or ice on one side. And so because I get them on the right side of my head, I put a hot pack there, and then I put ice on my neck. And the difference in temperature actually helped, I would say, like maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And I was just like, oh, I feel better. So that is always something to try if it's a particular stubborn migraine. So that's my experience. Okay.
Thank you, ladies. So I have one more question before we go. What is the number one thing that you ladies say you do not do when you have migraines? What is the number one thing? Alyssa, we'll start with you.
I'd say don't try to tough it out, because there are going to be the days where you really want to do something and you really feel, oh, I have this big event planned, but I have an awful migraine. And if you feel well enough to push through it, okay, but if you really don't try to. because at the end of the day, you're going to make yourself feel so much worse, and it's not worth it.
I think the only thing that I don't do is like, I will skip out on like physical therapy or being super social, and that's really about it, because mine aren't so crazy that I can't stop life. So yeah.
I absolutely have learned to put down my phone. Don't look at the TV. Don't do anything that's just going to agitate it more. Lay down, close your eyes, and don't, like Alyssa said, don't try and tough it out. Just do what you need to do to either make it go away or rest, because it's not worth how you're going to feel the day after if you tough out a migraine.
I would have to agree with what all these ladies say. For sure, don't tough it out. My word of advice on what not to do is always hit it early, because I tend to be like, oh, I can handle it, I can deal with it, and then it gets really, really bad, and it's 3 hours later, and the sumatriptan isn't strong enough to take it away, and I'm like, why didn't I deal with this 3 hours ago when it would have taken it away? So if you have an onset of a migraine, take your medicine, go lay down, deal with it right then. So thank you for tuning in to the Unchargeables. Thank you to my lovely panel. I hope that somebody has some good results from some of the solutions. Maybe you learned something. So we'll see you next week. Thank you.